What do you know about Caligula, the infamous emperor of Rome? Introduction. Caligula, born Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, is one of the most infamous figures in Roman history. Ascending to power at the tender age of 28, he ruled for less than 4 years, yet his reign has left an indelible mark on history. Often depicted as a tyrant whose actions exemplified the corruption and excess of imperial Rome, Caligula's life is a complex tapestry woven with both historical facts and myths. As Rome's third emperor, Caligula is remembered for his supposed madness, cruelty, and eccentricities, including the infamous stories of making his horse a consul and demanding divine worship. However, his reign also reflects the broader political and social dynamics of the Roman Empire, a period marked by political intrigue, dynastic struggles, and evolving concepts of imperial power. This essay delves into the life, reign, and legacy of Caligula, seeking to separate the man from the myth and explore the lasting impact of his rule on Roman history and culture. Early life and family background. Caligula was born on August 31st, AD 12, into the prominent Julian-Claudian dynasty, which was steeped in power and prestige. His father, Germanicus, was a celebrated Roman general and a nephew of Emperor Tiberius. His mother, Agrippina the Elder, was a granddaughter of Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. This illustrious lineage placed Caligula in a unique position within the imperial family, one marked by both privilege and peril. The early years of Caligula's life were spent on military campaigns along the northern frontier of the Roman Empire, accompanying his father. It was during these formative years that he acquired the nickname Caligula, meaning little boots, a term of endearment from the soldiers who saw him dressed in a miniature military uniform. This affectionate nickname would later become synonymous with his imperial persona, though it was not without its ironies, as Caligula would grow to despise the name. The death of Germanicus in AD 19 was a pivotal moment in Caligula's life. Germanicus's death was shrouded in mystery and suspicion, with rumors of poisoning possibly orchestrated by Emperor Tiberius himself. This event not only plunged the family into grief, but also set off a series of political machinations that would eventually lead to the downfall of Caligula's mother and siblings. Agrippina the Elder, a fiercely ambitious woman, found herself increasingly at odds with Tiberius, who perceived her as a threat to his rule. This tension culminated in her exile, along with Caligula's brothers, Nero and Drusus, who both met tragic ends. Caligula's path to power. The political intrigue and familial tragedy that marked Caligula's early life played a significant role in shaping his character and worldview. In AD 31, Caligula, then around 19 years old, was summoned to the island of Capri by Tiberius, who had retreated there to rule Rome remotely. This period on Capri was crucial for Caligula's development, exposing him to the harsh realities of power politics and the precarious nature of imperial favor. Capri, with its luxurious villas and rumored debauchery, became a crucible where Caligula learned to navigate the treacherous waters of imperial life. Tiberius's death in AD 37 brought Caligula to the forefront of Roman politics. At 24, he was declared emperor by the Senate, a decision that was met with widespread enthusiasm among the Roman populace. The early days of Caligula's reign were marked by a series of popular measures, including the release of prisoners, the recall of exiles, and public spectacles. These actions endeared him to the people and contrasted sharply with the reclusive and austere rule of Tiberius. Caligula's ascension was seen as a return to the more open and generous style of governance associated with Augustus, his great-grandfather. Reign of Caligula, a period of contradictions. The reign of Caligula is characterized by stark contradictions. Initially, he was perceived as a benevolent ruler, a young and charismatic leader who promised to restore the grandeur of the Roman Empire. However, this image quickly deteriorated as reports of his erratic behavior and extravagant lifestyle began to surface. Ancient historians such as Suetonius and Cassius Dio paint a picture of a ruler who became increasingly despotic, indulging in excess and cruelty. One of the most infamous aspects of Caligula's rule was his alleged madness. Stories abound of his bizarre and arbitrary actions, such as declaring himself a god and demanding that statues of himself be erected in temples across the empire. This self-deification was a radical departure from the traditional Roman practice, where deceased emperors were often deified, but living emperors rarely claimed such status. Caligula's actions in this regard were seen as blasphemous and egotistical, further alienating him from both the Senate and the traditional Roman religious institutions. Another notorious episode from Caligula's reign is the story of his horse, Incitatus. According to Suetonius, Caligula planned to make Incitatus a consul, an act that has been interpreted as a deliberate insult to the Senate, highlighting the perceived incompetence of its members. While the historical accuracy of this story is debated, it reflects the broader perception of Caligula's disdain for the political norms and institutions of Rome. This narrative, whether true or exaggerated, contributed to the image of Caligula as a ruler who was both unhinged and contemptuous of the traditional power structures. Caligula's financial policies were also a source of controversy. His extravagant spending on public games, building projects, and personal luxuries drained the imperial treasury. He undertook grandiose projects such as the construction of the Aqua Claudia and Annio Novus aqueducts and the expansion of the imperial palace on the Palatine Hill. These projects, while impressive, were costly and contributed to a financial crisis that necessitated increased taxation and confiscation of property. Caligula's attempts to replenish the treasury through these means further alienated the elite and the general populace. The dark side of Caligula's reign. While Caligula's public displays of generosity and his grand building projects were meant to endear him to the people and cement his legacy, there was a darker side to his reign that has contributed to his infamous reputation. Ancient sources describe a ruler who was increasingly paranoid and tyrannical, resorting to purges and executions to consolidate his power. His reign was marked by a climate of fear, with real and perceived enemies being ruthlessly eliminated. One of the most chilling aspects of Caligula's rule was his treatment of the Senate and the Roman elite. He often humiliated senators, forcing them to participate in degrading spectacles or subjecting them to arbitrary punishments. This behavior not only alienated the senatorial class, but also created an atmosphere of instability and distrust. Caligula's use of fear and intimidation as tools of governance was emblematic of his broader approach to maintaining power, which prioritized personal loyalty and absolute control over traditional republican institutions. Caligula's personal life also became the subject of scandal and intrigue. He was accused of incestuous relationships with his sisters, particularly Drusilla, whom he allegedly treated as his wife. While these accusations are difficult to verify and may have been exaggerated by hostile sources, they contributed to the perception of Caligula as a ruler who flouted social and moral conventions. His relationships with women, both within and outside the imperial family, were often cited as evidence of his depravity and lack of restraint. Caligula's assassination and aftermath. The culmination of Caligula's reign came with his assassination on January 24, AD 41. The conspiracy that led to his death involved members of the Praetorian Guard, including Cassius Chaerea, as well as several senators. The motivations behind the assassination were varied, ranging from personal grievances to broader concerns about the stability of the empire under Caligula's rule. The assassination was brutal. Caligula was stabbed multiple times by his own guards, and his wife, Caesonia, and their young daughter were also killed. The immediate aftermath of Caligula's assassination was marked by chaos and uncertainty. There were discussions among the conspirators and the Senate about the possibility of restoring the Roman Republic, but these plans quickly unraveled. The Praetorian Guard, recognizing their critical role in determining the succession, moved swiftly to secure power for themselves by proclaiming Caligula's uncle, Claudius, as the new emperor. Claudius's unexpected rise to power underscored the volatility of the imperial succession and the essential role of the military in shaping the political landscape. The Damnatio Memoriae and Caligula's historical legacy. Following Caligula's death, a concerted effort was made to erase his memory from the public record, a process known as Damnatio Memoriae. statues and inscriptions bearing his name were destroyed or altered, and official records were expunged of references to his reign. This systematic campaign to obliterate Caligula's legacy was not only a way for the new regime to distance itself from his controversial rule, but also an attempt to legitimize Claudius's succession and stabilize the political situation. Despite these efforts, the memory of Caligula persisted, and his reputation as a mad and tyrannical ruler was solidified in the works of ancient historians. These accounts, written by authors such as Suetonius, Cassius Dio, and Tacitus, have been instrumental in shaping the popular image of Caligula. However, these sources are not without their biases, and modern historians have increasingly questioned the accuracy and objectivity of these narratives. Re-evaluating Caligula's reign. In recent years, scholars have sought to reassess Caligula's reign, considering the broader historical and political context in which he ruled. Some argue that Caligula's actions, while extreme, were not entirely unprecedented or irrational within the framework of Roman imperial politics. For instance, the practice of deifying emperors was not new, and Caligula's insistence on his own divinity may have been a strategic move to consolidate his authority and legitimize his rule. Additionally, the portrayal of Caligula as a madman may have been exaggerated by his political enemies and later historians. The sensational stories of his excesses and cruelties, while compelling, may reflect a broader pattern of vilifying deposed or unpopular rulers. This phenomenon, known as imperial characterization, was a common practice in Roman historiography, where the virtues or vices of an emperor were often amplified to serve political or moralistic purposes. The impact of Caligula's reign on Roman culture and governance. Caligula's reign, despite its brevity, had significant implications for the development of the Roman Empire. His actions and the subsequent reactions to his rule highlighted the challenges inherent in the imperial system, particularly the issues of succession and the balance of power between the emperor and other political entities, such as the Senate and the military. The events of Caligula's reign also contributed to the evolution of the imperial cult, the practice of worshipping the emperor as a god. While the deification of emperors had begun with Augustus, Caligula's insistence on his own divine status while alive was a notable departure. This practice became more common under later emperors, further blurring the lines between political and religious authority. The imperial cult played a crucial role in the cohesion and stability of the empire, serving as a unifying force and a means of legitimizing the emperor's rule. Furthermore, Caligula's reign underscored the precariousness of imperial power and the importance of the military in maintaining stability. The Praetorian Guard's involvement in both his rise to power and his assassination demonstrated the crucial role that the military played in the politics of the empire. This dynamic would continue to shape the history of the Roman Empire, with the Praetorian Guard and other military factions often acting as kingmakers in the succession of emperors. Conclusion. The life and reign of Caligula remain one of the most intriguing and controversial episodes in Roman history. His legacy is a complex blend of fact and fiction, shaped by the narratives of ancient historians and the biases of subsequent generations. While Caligula is often remembered as a mad tyrant whose actions epitomize the worst excesses of imperial Rome, modern scholarship encourages a more nuanced interpretation that considers the political and cultural context of his time. Caligula's story serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities of historical interpretation and the dangers of unchecked power. It also highlights the challenges of governance in an autocratic system, where the concentration of power in a single individual can lead to instability and abuse. As we continue to study and debate the legacy of Caligula, his life remains a testament to the enduring fascination with the figures of the past and the lessons they offer for the present and future. In the end, Caligula's reign, though short-lived, left an indelible mark on the history and culture of Rome. His actions and the myths that surround him continue to captivate scholars and the public alike, making him one of the most iconic and enigmatic figures of the ancient world. The challenges of separating the man from the myth and the complexities of his legacy serve as a reminder of the enduring power of history to shape our understanding of the present and future. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe for more journeys to the past. Stay curious.